Guys, so I finished my smart shelf here. As you can see, I've got my three smart controllers here. I'm about to mount it, but before I mounted it, I just wanted to show you kind of the cable management. It all comes up through the hole, down through here, split out to each controller with its excess in the rear, and then it'll be mounted up nice and flush, just like this. Nice and clean, nice and tight. It's all really well bolted in. Oops. So nothing is moving. And so I like it. I like it a lot. All right, so now we start on the next shelf here, which will be column 2. Okay, so quick update on column 2. I've gone ahead and replaced all of the connectors. If you remember, this one had that multi-pin connector thing, that block. I've changed out all of these now to, the same thing like I did on column 1. I didn't notate this when I showed you the first time, but all of these are about 8 to 12 inches, depending on how much length was left on the bar itself. But I wanted them all to be roughly exactly the same. That way, it's just all clean and uniform, and it's all the same. So I did about an 8 to 12 inch tail on each bar. I'm actually about halfway through column 3 here. I only have 3 bars left. You can see those bottom 2 there that have the long bits of wire still. I've got to do those 2 and that Smith & Wesson, and then I'm done with column 3 for wiring as well. So, but for now, we'll go back to column 2 and we'll start running all of the cabling from column 2 up and over into the box for the next shelf. So here we go. Okay, I've got all of the second column cables ran, and I've got it all cleaned up already. So you see there on the left-hand side was the first column I did. Right-hand side is the second column I did, which you see goes into hole number 2 for column 2. These cables are laying here for the third smart siren box that I'll have. Everything comes down here to this shelf. I've got everything laid out for the switch boxes. I've already got my grounding bars mounted in the back, one for negative, one for positive. Those will go down in the corner, same way to the other power supply. Yeah, we'll do that. So now I have to work on the cables coming out of here, going across. You can see they're still kind of loose and sloppy. So now it's time to clean that up. Okay, so I got the rest of the cabling loomed together. As you can see, it's nice and clean and tight up there now. Comes down on this side, still nice and clean, all the way down. And just like the other row, it breaks off to each bar. So there's that one, there's the one for that one, that one, that one, so on and so forth. I haven't terminated those yet. That'll be my next project, but now it's all loomed, it's all clean, and ready for some ends. Okay, so another quick update. I didn't do any updates during the process, but as you can see now, I've got 2 more holes drilled with a ton of cable coming through. Haven't cleaned it up or anything yet, but it all goes down to here, which will be my last 2 shelves. And all that cable goes up into my attic, across, and down over here. And each one of those holes fills this 3rd and 4th column worth of lights, which, as you can see, it's still a mess, but I'll come back and loom it all together like I did the other ones. This column, I've already put on all of the ends like I did on the first 2 columns that you've seen. I have not gotten to this 4th column yet, but I'll do that shortly. As you can see, there's still a boat trailer plug here, so I've got some work to do on this side. But all the cables are ran and complete, so now I can start doing some terminations, cleaning up those looms, and then terminating this bad boy. All right, so just another quick update. Last snippet you saw, I had finished pulling all the wiring for columns 3 and 4. Now that is all done and it's all cleaned up. You saw it was a mess before and it was all hanging down at the bottom. Now it's all loomed together nicely. So you see I have my 4 looms, one for each column, and then this separate little loom here, which comes down to all the smart siren stuff. So all of those are done now, and it comes through. You've all seen this already. Here's shelf 3. You see the grounding bar back there in the back for the negative side, over here for the positive side. I've already got all my tails ready to go for the switch boxes when they get here. And then I've got all my leads coming from each light bar ready to go. I haven't put the ends on them yet because I want to see if they need to be trimmed up at all based on where the switch boxes end up. So I left a little bit of extra length so I can trim those up as necessary. And then I went ahead and got shelf 4 ready, which is not actually even in place physically yet, but you can see where it's going to rest. It's going to rest right across the top of here and over there. And I've got my grounding bars done already. So those are all the negative and positive wires from the light bars themselves. Here's all the other leads, which will eventually sit on the shelf right here. It's going to be the same height as these two. So these to here to there, and then here to there. So this will be shelf 4. And then I have all my tails here and here to go to the switch boxes. Last thing I didn't show you on the last time, you may have noticed in earlier snippets of this video that this was a different cable here. I originally used my same 8 gauge wire like I'm using here, and I just wasn't comfortable with that. It wasn't heavy duty enough. It was getting a little warm. So I replaced that with this super duper thick heavy duty 6 gauge cable. And now each one of my power supplies has the 6 gauge cable going to it, and I haven't had any issues yet. We're not even close to the power jaw for the circuits, so that's all working out well. You can also see I did shorten these up since the last time you saw these. So all those are nice and short now, so they just plug right in and I'll have all that extra length. I've got to put my last power supply up, but I haven't gotten to that yet. And then over here, last thing you didn't notice, haven't seen yet rather, is this is all now loomed together. Nice and clean on both sides. You can see the breakouts for each light bar is done. And in the last segment, I had not finished or had not actually even started wiring up these light bars. But as you can see now, it's all done. And I've got them all plugged in already and neatly tucked behind the one either above it or below it. So that for the most part, everything is pretty clean looking. So that's it. That means it's completely wired all the way from all 4 columns of the light bars all the way to this box. Now I'm a few switch boxes short. That's what I'm waiting on. As soon as those last 11 switch boxes get here, all I'll have to do is throw them in here, pop these ends on, and then it'll be ready to go. But we're getting real close, people, real close.